Listen alone, chat. Слушай, это недолго, беги себе, беги. Слушаю жадно, не спеша и деликатно.
Из неба смело и гордо вытекали две реки.
Невероятно, путано и непонятно.
Одна река была как белый день, другая черная как ночь.
А волны третьи были в пламени. Я ожидала их одно.
Вела меня от юга и до севера,
Дорога по неведомым краям. Менялся мир, чего в нем только не было. А три реки впадали в океан.
послушай, это недолго, наблюдение моряка.
Слушаю жадно, не спеша и деликатно.
Все реки рано или поздно попадают в океан.
Невероятно, путано
И непонятно.
Одна река была как белый день, другая черная как ночь.
А волны третьи были в пламени. Но ожидала их одно.
Вела меня
От юга и до севера, дорога по неведомым краям. Менялся мир, чего в нем только не было. А три реки впадали в океан. We just passed a glacier. I'm not sure if I should have turned left there. Technically, we still have 50 minutes to the destination. What? I'm just looking at the river, Elon. are entering glacier. That's what it says. There's a sign. What does that even mean? Entering glacier. Oh, this is the Vesson from Django Unchained. You guys ready for this? Hello? Son? Are you playing? Ice cream. Ooh, where's ice cream? No, that's not the song. It like skipped through. Maybe it's not saved. Yeah, it skipped through it. Oh well. It's the Tripoli. It goes like this. I'll demonstrate. He's down, down, da 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 down with the flowers. Num, 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 num. Why are you driving 65? You want to go to 100 at least. Bam, 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 da 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 down. When you see him, use his gun. Down. When you see him, yeah, I know, there's a little rusty. He's the top of the West, always cool. He's the best star. On his cold 45. Like that. Cool song. Really good song, actually. I don't know why it's hard to find that one. Oh my god, this. Look up. The trees are so tall.
Even though I've been at Apple for 36 years, I'm still learning every day. We're still organized like if we were a small company. One of my favorite things that I get to do is to see the new products and help decide what those new products are.
Do you watch anything on YouTube?
I watch a ton of YouTube. I love what Apple Intelligence is going to do because it makes the product and everything that we do better.
Eddie Q is Apple's Senior Vice President of Services. He's been with Apple for 36 years and he's been instrumental in creating the Apple Online Store, the iTunes Store, and the App Store, and currently oversees the full range of Apple's services, including Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, and Apple Podcasts. He was in London for a few days, so I took the opportunity to talk to him about his time at Apple, all things services, and the future with Apple Intelligence. Here's the full interview. I hope you enjoy it.
We've got everything.
We're doing this in spatial?
Well, we've got plenty of cameras.
You got plenty of cameras, absolutely.
Yeah. Eddie, welcome to the channel, and thank you for bringing the California weather to London.
I assumed it was always like this. So beautiful and everything, but it's a real pleasure to be here with you. I was very excited about doing this.
Thank you so much. I was saying, I wish it was always like this. Like, if we just had a remote control, we could just change the beautiful background here just to be sunny all the time. Lovely, lovely to have you. I've got so much to talk about, but the question I ask all my guests first is around daily drivers. It's a term that we use in the YouTube tech world, and it's about the devices that you use every day. So, which iPhone are you currently using?
15 Pro Max.
15 Pro Max. Color?
It's white.
Okay, titanium.
No cover.
Okay.
Because I like holding it in the thinness.
You want to feel that titanium.
That's right.
And what about your iPad and MacBook?
No, well, let's do some headphones first.
Okay.
I just got the new Beats. We did these cool Beats headphones now that are tiny.
Yes.
They're really, really small because the pack doesn't have any battery, so it kind of disappears in your pocket, so which are quite cool. iPad, probably the device, in some ways I probably use the most.
Okay.
And I have the new iPad Pro, the 12-inch, incredibly thin, but I love that device because I consume a lot now doing TV and movies. I get to even watch that for work.
Amazing. You just always
Which is crazy. Never thought that was going to happen when I was doing my computer science degree, that I'd get to watch movies and TV for work.
Amazing. That's the best. It's the dream. And for your Mac?
That's a good one. I have a MacBook Air 15-inch. That's probably my primary. But in my office, I have a Mac Studio at home with a big screen.
I think you're pretty much you've got the same setup as Tim. Because just a couple of weeks ago at DubDub, I asked him, and he was iPhone 15 Pro Max. He had the iPad Pro,
I think he's 15 Pro, if I recall correctly. I'm not sure he's max, but
Okay.
we'll have to check. I'll have to check on him. Well, he might have changed, but yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, obviously those are some of our, if not best products. So
Top of the line.
we like using our best stuff.
Of course. Now, I was just looking over your bio, and there's a lot of services here. So I'm just going to go through some of the, so overseeing full range of Apple services.
I think you're calling me old.
No, I'm just, I was like looking through the list and I was like, that's a lot of services. So you've got Apple Music, Apple News, Apple Podcasts, Apple TV app, Apple TV Plus, Apple Pay, Apple Card, Maps, Search Ads, Apple's iCloud services, Apple's productivity and creativity apps. Those are a lot of services.
Just a couple.
So I'm curious, like, what does a day in the life of Eddie Q look like when you're overseeing so many different services?
Well, first, the interesting thing, and I love this about my job, is that I'm always learning. Because there's so many disparate things, there's always new things that are going on. So I always feel like, even though I've been at Apple for 36 years, I'm still learning every day because we're trying to do all these new things that come about. And sometimes it's things I knew nothing about, but I'm good at hiring people and working with folks. So that's one piece. So I'm learning every day. The second thing is I've got an incredible team of folks that I work with, and that's part of the learning too. But it's and so what I try to do is to create an environment where they can excel, and they're generally the experts at what they're doing. So create environments where they can do their best work. And then I'm there to help most of the time, which is, okay, when there's problems, and I can help in different ways, either experience or I can help with talent sometimes. I can help, I was just at one of the biggest financial institution board meetings talking about what Apple's trying to do with Apple Pay. And so those types of things. And then the third thing is help make some of the biggest decisions, right? What are the next big things or features? And so one of my favorite things that I get to do is to see the new products and help decide what those new products are. And the beauty of Apple, it's not just in services, but we work really like one cohesive team. So what's the hardware team doing? What's Craig and the OS team doing? And what are we doing with our apps and services? And so we get to do that together. And so generally the best way that I describe it is I have a lot of fun.
So I remember you saying at your talk at Duke University that it doesn't feel like you've worked for 36 years because every day you love what you do. And
yeah, I always joke around people because they ask like, oh, how is it working? I said, well, I work about 30 days a year. They're like, 30 days a year, what are you talking about? I said, well, the other 300 days I'm having fun. 30 days is work.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not that much fun, something's going on that's not as much fun. But if you're lucky enough to find something you're passionate about, I think you've done that. You love what you do, then it's great because it's not work most of the time. And so you don't want to go through life feeling like it's, oh, I get up in the morning, I gotta go to work. I get up in the morning, like this morning, I was excited about doing this. I was meeting one of my teams this morning here as well. And so I'm excited to get up. I was ready to go. And so I think we're very lucky in that. And I think that's what I tell people all the time. Find something you're passionate about that you love to do so it's not work.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
I think the balance you said, you work around 30 days because there's always going to be an element of, work, but like if you love what you do and you're passionate about it, then the rest of the time just goes like that.
That's right.
Now, you actually touched on what my next question was going to be because when reviewing tech, which me and my peers do, we always say that one of the unique things about Apple is the seamless integration of hardware, software, and services. And you kind of mentioned a little bit about that, and it's great to kind of hear how that works behind the scenes and how closely you work with the other teams.
Yeah, the only thing I would add to it, by the way, is I think one of the
Okay, it's actually really, really hot, so I'm just gonna try to air this out. It seems like it's cold because there's snow around, but it's not. And I should eat that pasta because it's getting cooked the second time right now. Gotta close that. They're soaking, but the water is actually clear. Just mountain, clear mountain water. All right, I'm gonna leave that here for now. Like, look how high we are, Chad. Like, the map doesn't even load. It's so high up. There's like no signal pretty much. All right. Let's go find another hike. Look how cute this is. It's like a mini window there, and you take your shoes off, you go in your house. Yeah, this is how a lot of people camp and live. All right, next to another adventure, mirrorshoes.com. Oh, what can I say? There's tons.
for the sake of competing in summer. And it's actually looking better and better the more we look at it. Yes, it has been only versus Ultra Prime. That's the last 2 series we have seen. But it's a great start in the group. And they're going to grab themselves the soul point here as well.
It's going to be a full 7-dragon game. Well, that's assuming it goes on for another 5 minutes here. 3 drakes apiece now between the 2 teams.
I'm not going to lie to you, Munch. I think next Baron fight, we'll have GGs after.
It might well do. The one thing I will say, Qingtian very good at dealing with those super minions. He can kind of just chill in that bottom side, but Niket, he just ain't that tanky at this point. Trying to face check in here, this is difficult for Ultra Prime.
Very importantly, IG, they've got flashes on all the carries that matter. Vampire with the engaged, Nani and GLFS, they're pulling TPs. This is the fight.
I'm looking at Nani. I'm looking for that big slicing Maelstrom, but IG peel off of the Baron for now. Ultra Prime doing a good job. Actually, yeah, just trying to start him. I think just going temporarily insane for a second there. Decides to pull off it in the end, as now they find an opportunity, but no! They get wide on the Zenith Blade. Look at Nani, though. This is a deep, deep flank. This is an opportunity for a slicing Maelstrom. The rest of their team wouldn't be nearby, though. Qingtian finds him out in the end, and Nani has to back away. But now, look at this. IG just start Baron again. You see Yuakai move over. He's got cleanse, not TP. He's trying to deal with the super minions, and it means that the Baron is a freebie for IG.
IG, great stuff right here. Getting the Baron, that means they can put pressure down on those lanes. Take the last standing gold from the side of Ultra Prime. Is that mid lane tier 2 that they've been looking for. Niket using his ultimate and missing onto Vampire right there was all it took for IG to turn back onto Baron, knowing that the resets are going to be coming through from Ultra Prime. And again, the information and the turnaround time from IG has been impeccable. And so far, it has netted them a bunch of kills and a bunch of Barons and a bunch of souls, if you will, in this series. However, right here, IG have all the tools again. All flashes are up and available on the members that do matter. And all they need is that last mid-tier 2 to completely push Ultra Prime back in their base.
And I feel like, you know, we talked at the start of the day about Hacker and Yuakai being the driving force of Ultra Prime. Well, Hacker's had a tough game, really difficult to function as a brand in these team fights with this much AoE CC flying your way. Yuakai still flawless. He's full build at this point. He's got to be the carry for Ultra Prime, but Qingtian has already gone down. YSKM into GA. Niket goes wide on the Zenith Blade. Perhaps a chance of Vampire. Dives underneath the tower, and Nini slices them to pieces. It's a Maelstrom. It's a full-on storm for IG as they look to end the game. Reset from YSKM. He has TP available to keep this minion wave alive. Yuakai gets onto Arn and does a little bit of damage. Doggo here as well. YSKM is tanky, but is he tanky enough? The minion wave still so strong, baroned up as IG just look to finish the job. Ultra Prime desperately hanging on. Doggo and Yuakai 2v3, but the Nexus is laid bare, and IG repeat history as they take Ultra Prime down 2-0.
You could see Anne right there flashing his IG icon while playing IG Jakilov Kaisa on the Rift. What a great way again to reignite the 2018 era with a roster that got put together for the sake of playing in summer. Incredible stuff by the squad here of IG, and again, I have to commend them on how fast they could process information into actual action on the map. They would find someone overextending on one side of the map, that engage on them, take numbers advantage. They'd see the jungler opposite to where the Baron spawns. They'd start the Baron immediately. I feel like this squad has what it takes to possibly dream of making IG great again.
We'll have to see. A lot of steps on that path before they can really live up to the 2018 version of IG. I mean, that's a World Championship roster we're talking about, so I don't want to get too excited too quick. But certainly a fantastic start to the Nirvana group. 2-0. You really could not ask for more here today from IG. Phenomenal stuff And again, repeating what they did in that group stage. I wasn't sure if they'd be able to do it again. I wasn't sure if it was just a flash in the pan. I said Ultra Prime would be the favourites coming in today. And, you know, I've had to eat my words, very much so, because Ultra Prime showing quite a few weaknesses. But as you said during the cast, IG doing a really, really good job of punishing every little mistake Ultra Prime made. Ultra Prime making those mistakes, but IG capitalising beautifully.
Absolutely, very quick-witted on the Rift. And I feel like a lot of that came down to GLFS. 0 deaths the entire series. Once he played Brand, now he played a melee champion into what Ultra Prime had. They had Leonas and whatever else that could reach him. He did not die once whilst participating in every single fight, doing the utmost of damage. And it's great to see the jungler of IG rising up to the occasion, especially when there's eras and metas where all these carry junglers come through. It really shows the caliber of player you are when you're able to put the utmost and carry your team forward. And I feel like GLFS throughout the entire series has been what they needed, which was a carry.
Yeah, GLFS, I think, has been gradually getting better since his debut as well. I feel like we're starting to see some of the roughness of him. You know, this is his first year in the LPL. This is inevitably going to be a little bit rough when you first come in. It does feel like we're seeing him develop more and more as a player. IG, it was a slow win. They gradually managed to find that victory in the end. But those team fights, they were so close back and forth. I feel like it really, in the mid-game there, it really could have gone either way, but Ultra Prime just giving a few too many opportunities over.
The composition from the side of IG is just a big telltale of how the team wants to play, right? One person presses W, everyone else goes forward. And I'm also referring to MMORPG's W, as in going forward, not actually the button W, the ability of any champion. And it feels like if one of those goes astray, if the initial engage does not land from Vampire, we saw a bunch of these moments happen for IG. However, when they did manage to play as a 5-man unit, and whenever Ultra Prime was bundled up, they would take that opportunity and engage. Again, we see it right here. However, that didn't quite end up as they wanted to. That was one of those fights where we saw Ultra Prime split them apart and actually come up on top.
There was a lot of fights. I mean, yeah, just that as a sentence is true. There was a lot of fights, but a lot of fights that got very, very messy, where we had just a couple of carries left for Ultra Prime trying to clear up. And there were a couple of hero moments coming out from Yukai, from Doggo in some of those scraps. Ching Tien having a couple of really good ones as well. There was also moments like this where Ching Tien managed to block the choke point, right, and denied it going any further. Then obviously Doggo finishes off Arnas. He's just shy of killing Yukai. These are the fights where these hero moments did come out from Ultra Prime, but then you see other fights where it is Ching Tien just frontlining. The Unending Despair doesn't even get time to proc a single time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. You mentioned how you're expecting 5 seconds for the first heal to come through. And I would say, ideally, you would like to have more than 1 ticks of your very expensive items passive, if you will. However, that was not necessarily the case. And Ultra Prime, even though I will say Yukai tried his hardest, man. He put out so much damage. I think it was a little bit too late in the game. When I'm thinking of Lucians, I'm thinking of a lot of early to mid-game dominance. However, Nani managed to shut him down early in laning phase, and then it became so difficult for a short-range AD carry such as Lucian to find his openings in the game.
It was really difficult to get forwards. I mean, I do think that there's an extent to which this is the value of Kennen as well. It's so difficult to play aggressively when you're against these big AoE ultimates. And then Vampire actually had quite a few really good Magnet Storms to set up for the rest of the team, to set up for Nani following up as well. I was nervous for IG at the start of the day. We saw Nani looking really, really unsure on camera, but when it came down to it, fantastic day from the squad. Fantastic
it was
bit of
the
play
eyeball
from IG.
massage.
Yeah, the eyeball massage. Yeah, it set it all up. Beautiful little bit of.
He was able to see everything so much more clear, and honestly, he's had a pretty good series himself as well. When was the last time we saw a mid lane Kennen was we saw 2021 from LNG's Icon, and he brings it back, shuts down the Lucian very early on in laning phase, and the rest is history.
Yeah. All he had to do was caress his corneas, and suddenly he's back on top. Fantastic stuff. coming up from IG
Take
by the
notes.
end of things. Yeah, if you're ever in trouble, just a little bit of that will sort you right out. IG, though, really solid stuff. I'm cautiously optimistic about this roster. I will say they've got a big journey ahead. There are a good few other teams within Group Nirvana, but I would say with performances like that, if they can keep that up consistently, IG could be a favourite to make it towards at least the play-in stage before playoffs. So fingers crossed for IG that they can keep that performance up. I will say we've got to talk a little bit about Ultra Prime. Pretty disappointing day for them, I would say. This is a team that a lot of people were getting really hyped on in the first half of the placement stage, and you can see why. You can still see glimmers of that team. Like, team fighting looks really good mechanically, these players are really sound, but we just see like Qingtian overextending in side lanes. How many times have we seen that? 3 times, I think, across this series. Like Niket recalling on a ward, just silly little mistakes like this that don't sound like they're that hard to fix, but they have been pretty consistent for a while now. Hopefully we can see Ultra Prime buttoning things up a little bit, but it is going to be On that grabs the MVP.
Oh,
Great
wow.
little Kai'Sa game from him.
GLFS, absolute raw. That's probably the best series he's had for the entire split so far. However, An did have a pretty good Kai'Sa performance right here, so he's definitely 7th of that one. I want to go back to your Ultra Prime point. I feel like we talked very early on about Qingtian and what he offers to the team, and I feel like in the first game, not only does he counterpick himself, but he gets ahead. He was 2,000 plus gold ahead. However, that never translated into the team fights, and it's not necessarily pinned down to Qingtian and how he chooses to play the team fights. Is the fact that he felt very miscoordinated from Ultra Prime, and I feel like this is why we expect so much of this team, because you look at the people that are playing in this team, you look at the names, and you expect better things. However, they have been so consistently inconsistent throughout the entire year that they could take down a very good team and then go ahead and lose to IG and lose their chances of going into Group Ascent.
I'm just worried that we're back to old Ultra Prime. I really hope that's not the case. I really hope not. I'm excited about this roster, and fingers crossed it's just a blip on the radar. That is going to be our first series done and dusted, though. Ultra Prime lose in the end, IG 2-0 on the scoreboard, and get their first win in the Nirvana group. But we're going to move over to Group Ascend. It's time for the break, and then we'll jump into NIP versus LNG.
We're the bring that we must
What we love about Apex Legends, so it's going to be awesome. But guys, we have found our 7 teams heading over to the Split 2 playoffs. It has been a hell of a Split 2. I do feel like it's gone incredibly quick, but you know what? It's been passionate nonetheless. So, Genome, I don't know if you've got any final words for us today and how you felt over this Split 2, but I am just excited and blown away. That's easily how I'm going to put it.
Yeah, look, with the, you talked about losing some of our biggest teams here in APAC South, and it's, at times been a struggle to replace them, but it's awesome to see that every time that happens, someone seems to rise to the occasion. It's been Legends here in Year 4. We're hoping that they can do that again come Split 2. But as you also said, it's really cool to get that fresh blood in there, right? And, the Chinese players in the Chinese region have been doing better and better. It was really just Dreamfire there for a while that were sort of up at the top level. Then, we get them joined by MDY White and now LGD Gaming. And now even above them, we've got another couple of teams showing that there is really a lot of depth in this region. And when we're sending 7 teams over, or 8 teams in Split 1, more than we ever had before in ALGS. Depth is what we need here in APAC South. So really hoping that all these players could show us what they're made of and keep pushing for even higher placements come the Split 2 playoffs in Mannheim.
No, you're so true and accurate there, Genome. But, it's been a pleasure, Genome and Elfish. We've had such a fun split. It's been a blessing to be alongside you guys, watching all this unfold and seeing brand new teams rise to the top. But, of course, that is it for our long shot production. It's a little bit sad. It's not the end of us, but, it is the end of Split 2. So a big thank you to everyone behind the scenes, as always, Genome and Elfish. A massive thank you to you guys. You're always so insightful and passionate throughout everything. And of course, our pizza eating man, Dax, we can't forget about him. He always brings the passion. But we will hopefully see you guys at Split 2 playoffs. I know Gino will probably be over there. So, you got to see you got to see his face soon. You know what I'm saying? So we are going to end it right here, guys. But thank you so much for joining us here at the Long Shot Production. It has been absolutely amazing. And we hope to see you guys soon. Catch you later.
begins.
Dawn calls to war, and it begins. Kidding.
Our first series already done and dusted. If you missed it, it was 2-0 to IG over Ultra Prime. But now we're headed, like I said, to Shenzhen for NIP versus LNG. I'm Munchables. I'm joined by Troublelink as we head towards the second series, and I think quite a big one in the Ascend group here. Both of these teams with a lot of expectations on their shoulders. We're hoping for big performances, but both of them showing good signs and poor signs during the previous stage.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm very excited about this because both of these teams were considered top 3, squeeze top 3, but definitely top 4 in the LPL over in spring. A lot of them were even rumored to want to be seen at MSI as well, like Rookie at Internationals, you know, Gala Scout, all that jazz at Internationals as well. However, I feel like LNG has definitely not lived up to the height over in spring, and now in summer they've also been quite hit or miss. They barely made it into the Ascent group, and for NIP, I'm not gonna lie to you, but it has been a little bit of the rookie show so far.
LNG, one of the first casualties to Weibo of that bracket run. Oh, I guess the second casualty. There was only 2 casualties. But yeah, LNG, a pretty lackluster year. I think NIP, a team that has mixed expectations. It really depends who you ask with this team, because Rookie is on form. He's in incredible form right now. He's looking fantastic, and there are other members of the team that have had some exceptional games as well. Shanji has had some really, really good games for himself. But it feels like Aki hasn't really been enjoying the AP jungle meta, but the whole squad has just sort of moved away from that. Photic having some games where his positioning's been really questionable, but other games where he's fully carrying the squad. So it's a team that I think does depend on the day to some extent, but I feel they have been getting better with time, and I'm cautiously optimistic with what's to come for the Ninjas in Pajamas. LNG on the other side, I feel it's less linear in their progression. I feel it's a little bit all over the place. Gala definitely looking pretty good. The rest of the squad, definitely ups and downs.
Yeah, and right now, here's the real big test for all the Scout enjoyers as well. Of course, we know how good this guy can be. He has been one of the most incredible mid laners over here. However, he's going up against arguably the mid laner that is in the best form currently in the LPL in terms of Rookie. And a big question here for NIP is that what happens when Rookie doesn't have a pop-off game? What happens when Rookie doesn't win his lane? Because this time around, he's going up against Scout, and Scout can win his lane when he has the right matchup. And for NIP, these are the questions that they're going to have to go back to drawing board and solve from all their previous best-ofs that they have played, because having Rookie win your lane is absolutely fantastic. Your jungler is getting freed on the map.
Yeah.
However, playing from an even footing, I'm not sure how confident NIP is going up against LNG.
It's a big question, isn't it, that mid lane? Because this is an old school matchup. Scout versus Rookie is a classic, and both of these players have individually been the very best in the league in their own times. I feel like in current form, Rookie is the best mid laner in the league right now. But Scout has had some games this year that he looked like he was just completely back, you know. Some games he just looks like vintage Scout's taking over. But then other games he's getting solo killed. Other games he just doesn't exist at all. It's really interesting because I don't feel like Scout has historically been an inconsistent player. Like he's either firing on all cylinders or he's not. But right now, I really do feel like it's a bit of a toss-up which one shows up today.
And Aki is wearing his jacket the wrong way around.
It's a blanket.
Might be a fashion statement. Yeah, might be a fashion statement. You know, we had eyeball massage in the previous game. It worked. This time around, we've got wearing our jacket backward. Hopefully, it can work. I feel like Aki has been one of those players that has been heavily criticized, specifically in spring and before playoffs kicked in. He was one of the weaker links, if you will, to NIP. And as playoffs progressed for NIP, he started finding his form. And by the end, when they ended up going down to JDG, we saw a really, really good form for the team. And we said, oh, we can't wait to see what this could develop to over in summer. However, I'm not going to lie to you. The first series that they played was a big awakening, was a big slap in the face. Rookie was getting solo killed over and over again. And after that, it feels like NIP got their, their ducks in a row, kind of. Some ducks have been going astray here and there. However, in majority, as long as Rookie is happy and as long as Rookie is doing well in the mid lane, it feels like NIP are running on all cylinders.
Well, it's time to find out if that will continue to be the case today as we head towards our first champion select. Now, NIP, with the home crowd advantage here, they're in their own arena. LNG, another organization that has an arena, typically have that same advantage. But when you've got two arena teams going up against each other, you got to take it in turns. Fans, though, coming in, Renekton, there's Zyra once again taken off the board, Tristana and Rumble on the opposite side, and then Brand removed as well, which means Karthus, Corki, both still available.
Weiwei is one of those junglers that really does favor his AP junglers. Gets that cheeky smile over there. He knows that the only two left available for him are the Karthus and the Lilia. Now, Karthus has been a champion that Aki has been favoring quite a bit, especially when you have Rookie on things like the Corki that have been left open right here. Could give you a lot of priority and a lot of ease in terms of just being perma in your jungle, just farming it up.
Yeah, I feel like, generally speaking, LNG aren't worried about the Karthus just because the odds of Aki picking the Karthus seem extraordinarily low to me. Like, in recent series, it's all been about the Wukong, it's been about the Sejuani, the Diego, you know, he's really like, I mean, they're just going to first pick Sejuani. That's how confident they are that they don't want Aki on a carry. They want him setting up these lanes.
I'm just sitting on my chair holding my head, by the way, for people who cannot have the visual right now. Aki is laughing because this is his life now. This is his life. Peaking B1 Sejuani. There are so many champions available. The Ashe. There's things like the Corki. There's things like the Yone. I know possibly Rookie right here will be looking for a counter pick over in that mid lane over Scout to try and get that priority. And they do have the Sejuani to facilitate for lanes. However, I am not the biggest advocate for seeing a B1 pick that cannot necessarily be flexed, but neither is an S+ pick.
It feels like an S+ pick in the eyes of Aki at very least, based on this draft.
Trust me, no jungler will tell you that Sejuani is the S+ tier pick.
Don't know. I guess it depends.
They don't want to admit it.
It all depends whether or not you know that Sejuani's ult actually procs Sejuani's E damage. That's the question, yeah. It is going to be that Sejuani first, answered with a Cassante and an Ezreal. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see something like a Leona locked in here for 12, very high priority pick. The Corki going to go in with the Tristana banned away, so you've got that AD mid lane. Instead, Ashe going to come on through for, you assume Photic, but could go to Droll as well. They've both played at this split.
That is the case. And right here, we're potentially looking for either locking in a good matchup for Scout in the mid lane. And that could potentially be the case. Another AD champion that does also really well into Corki has been the Yone. We've seen this quite a bit over in the LPL. However, okay, there we go. I was about to say, you know, Scout is a pretty good Jace as well, but Yone is one of those matchups that you really love playing in the mid lane because you can also transition as a side lane threat.
You certainly can. We've seen this countless times into the Corki as well. You can survive the pressure that Corki brings using that W and just maintain CS. We'll see what Scout can do on the Yone later in the game. The Braum banned away with the Ashe available for Photic. You do not want to go against Ashe Braum in lane. It is so incredibly oppressive on the side of NIP. I wouldn't be too surprised to see something like a Leona ban, Leona Ezreal. Sort of a classic combination, really.
Yeah, and there's things like the Nautilus and the Rel that will make it through. However, we have to pinpoint here that LNG have yet to pick a jungler, and it's going to have to be an AP jungler for Weiwei. And the way it's going right now, it feels like they're pushing him towards something like potentially a Karthus or a Nidalee. I'm expecting a Lilia ban to come out of an IP here because it's one of those jumpers that can also very easily set up. It's not going to be the case. So Lilia up and available for Weiwei if you choose to go for that.
Certainly would be. The Karthus, the Lilia, the Nidalee, all three of those AP jungles available. Ivan is technically an AP jungler. We've seen that elsewhere in the world from LPL teams, and it looks pretty good. I don't think it's going to be coming today, and in fact, it is that Nidalee for Weiwei to go up against Aki Sejuani.
We talked a little bit about a few people that are quote-unquote, right, allowed to play that Nidalee. We expect an AP jungler to come out of Weiwei, and he's been favoring a lot. He's farming AP junglers, and it matches pretty well with the likes of an Ezreal that wants to be poking away. However, let's see here. Ooh, Shanji.
Interesting.
With the Mordekaiser, the 369 special. Going to a Skarner this time around, but into another tank.
Yeah, we've typically seen this Mordekaiser as an answer to the Skarner. We've not seen it much into the Cassante, but you can see the extension of logic, right? That you can just pull the all-outing Cassante out of the play and 1v1 him instead. Juwon goes for an absolute classic pick of his in that Rakan. Looks like it might be answered with a Nautilus. Rel would be up and available. I feel like Nautilus kind of died a death in the LPL. We don't see anywhere near as much as we did earlier on in the split, but Hung still happy to go for the pick, and rightly so. Interesting compositions. Not how I expected this draft to go, to be honest, but how are you feeling about these on Strubble?
I'm loving the Nautilus as the last pick here for Hang, because you've got an immobile carry on the bottom of the map, the Ashe, and you've also got a matchup that you win, which is versus Rakan. You get to pin down Rakan. Ezreal gets to put down all the hurt as well. For LNG, there is a lot of if, buts, and maybes, because there are a bunch of skill shots that need to hit in order for the Nautilus, the Yone, and the Cassante to go all in. And you also have to be very wary of Shanji's Mordekaiser. Now, we have seen a lot of hits and misses on the Mordekaiser. A lot of Mordekaisers will lose straight up in lane, and then they will not become that huge threat. We've seen the hands of 369, what this monstrosity of a champion can do. And later on in the game, you can even pick up someone like the Yone to put in the realm, which means that a lot of large amount of that threat into your backline dissipates whilst the Mordekaiser ultimate takes him away.
Certainly can. I mean, Mordekaiser just completely shifts the shape of a game, doesn't he? Especially when it comes to fights over neutral objectives. The ability to just pull the enemy jungler out of the mix entirely can secure entire games. We'll see what the performance is going to look like from Shanji here. Whether or not he can bring this Mordekaiser to bear and bring a win for the side of NIP. They've got plenty of tools to start a fight with an Ashe, with a Rakan, with a Sejuani. They've plenty of ways to make things happen. But LNG, plenty of ways to do massive burst damage here with an Ezreal, a Nidalee, a Yone on top. Lots of damage on either side. Lots of potential for action here as we head into NIP versus LNG, game number 1. Oh, they turned off the crowd bikes. Well, all right.
I think it was an IP's turn as well.
Yeah, I think
in their own arena.
Maybe we missed the NIP ones and they were doing the classic LGD ones that sometimes come out. Shanji potentially getting cheesed in this top side as Weiwei hanging around as well. Bit of extra damage, and it's too late for Shanji to realistically recall without being punished pretty massively. Big time. Oh, flashed into the spear. Shanji, 100 HP and has to recall with no flash. Really nice punish from Weiwei. And now Rookie's been found. Why is he so far up the lane? Hung gets a free route, gets a route down onto Juwon as well. LNG gets so much at level 1.
That is disastrous right there. Juwon gets back into his lane, almost half HP. Sanji walks up level 1, minute 1 without TP or flash. And I just wanted to reiterate how a lot of people say, if you're not Canyon, don't play Nidalee. But no one ever says, hey, if you're not Canyon, maybe play Canyon Skin. And that can help you play Nidalee, because that's exactly what Weiwei's doing.
Channel the champ. I mean, I will say,
absolutely,
Shun definitely gets to play Nidalee. Shun is an absolute monster on the pick. Milky Way as well. An absolute fiend when he gets that pick in his hands.
Throw in a Kanavi in there too.
Yeah, Kanavi, why not? Why not? Kindred, Nidalee, what's the difference? They are. I feel like Kindred players and Nidalee players are very often the same players. Scout trying to return the trade. I'm keeping my eyes on that mid lane. Scout versus Rookie. It's an absolute classic. Rookie should, in theory, have pressure to start off. Hung finds the level 2 hook. Maximum range there, but no real follow-up from Gala for the time being. But yeah, Rookie should have priority in this lane. It's down to how well Scout can weather the storm.
And as you can see, it sort of shifted a little bit how Aki clears the jungle towards the top side. Very wary that, hey, potentially Shanji could get dived underneath a tower if a wave builds up towards the top side. Zika has absolute control, and Shanji would lose so much if he got dived level 3. Again, no flash, no TP available. His laning phase could be over right there and then. And there's been a lot of question marks in terms of the Mordekaiser, right? Because we've seen some monstrous Mordekaiser performances, especially coming out of their 6ix9ine. Sheer had a pretty good one as well, where you just get out of lane so strong with pretty good items. You take anyone into the realm and you're able to 1v1 them. However, if you get put behind, and you're behind in levels, and you're behind in items, the champion is not as tanky as it appears. However, Aki on the long flank.
He wants to get Shanji ahead. Zika with the Q3 could go forwards here. Aki's just waiting for that misstep, waiting for that opportunity. Won't get spotted on the ward as Draw pulled in and takes a massive chunk. That's Ignite out from Hung, but honestly, Draw's just going to have to reset.
He did burn the Guardian as well in this particular one. Weiwei's looking. If he doesn't have quick reactions right there, he does.
I mean, it's enough.
Just about dodges.
He stopped the recall, so now Draw has to stay in lane. A Rookie has Scout real low on HP, and the wave pushing away from Scout as well. Fleet will do a bit of work to sustain him up in the mid lane, but it does feel tough for him. As Aki did end up going for the reset, so the top lane is kind of reset to normal laning once again. Rookie actually being pushed in here. Scout should be able to, in theory, push that underneath the tower, but Rookie's just going to hold the wave where it is. Might be able to freeze that one, unless he just wants to clear.
Here's the thing about... Oh, another Q.
Man, Whoa, you got to start expecting these hooks, man. As Photic will get a lot of damage down onto Hung at very least. So decently done there. I suppose Dwell knows that he's going to head back to base, so just trading that HP. Scout trying to go in onto Rookie, but Rookie just waiting for him to ping back to get more damage down. Tense in the mid lane, tense in the bottom lane. Pretty heavy trades in the top lane as well. This feels like it could become quite a volatile game. Every single laner wanting to enact their will upon their opponents.
Oh, and here's Weiwei trying to go to the top side of the map, punish the fact that Shanji still doesn't have any summoners available to him. If one spear lands, there's both flashes on Zika and Weiwei.
Aki's here too. He's level 4, so not the tankiest at this point. Shanji moves in, gets the shield. Stun comes out onto Weiwei. Maybe they can turn it around. Shanji gets some damage, and he survives as well. Zika answers it, and Aki, I think, might just be able to finish off the Cassante flash available for him, but Dwo's moving in as well. Won't be able to close the gap, won't be able to find that kill, but either way, just answering was enough.
1 for 1 on the top side. Sejuani and Cassante being the ones taking those kills. Aki is gonna push in that wave for his top lane as well. There is no teleport onto Zika, so he's gonna miss a couple of creeps as one doesn't push fast enough, and -1 right there for Aki. But A for effort, and again you see Weiwei trying to punish Shanji, but Shanji plays it so cleverly. He sticks as close to Nidalee as possible, which means that the Q damage hits a creep that was pulled back. This would have been Shanji dead right there. Shanji tried to stick as close to Nidalee as possible to take as little damage from Q as possible, but that creep kind of saved Shanji's skin right there.
And Shanji having to walk all the way back up to top anyway. The wave is basically underneath the enemy tower because Aki was the one to push it. Means that he can just help out with those grubs and speed up the take. Rookie will get a reasonable trade onto Scout there. Scout doing a good job of using that shield efficiently so that they're trading fairly even. Rookie up 5 CS currently. Not going to be enough to turn into a big advantage. Zika, level 6 against level 5 here. I don't think he'll find an all-out opportunity, but just using that presence of the extra level, as again, Draw just consistently hooked in by Hung.
Now, here's the thing. We said how difficult it was going to be for the bot lane of NIP to play these 2 versus 2. Nautilus does counter both the very champions, whether you land a hook onto Ashe or Rakan, you can take pretty favorable trades, and this is what has allowed LNG to take full control of the bot side of the map, especially the river, and this is something that they definitely need, having immediately, having those extra few dragons early on, playing the game in their own terms, dictating the pace of the game, if you will. I feel like a lot of the times it's very understated how much one dragon can bring to your team in terms of time. A lot of the times you're not quite at the power spike you need, you do not have the right control around that area, and dropping a dragon could potentially be game winning for your team. So having those extra dragons early on, even if you don't go necessarily for that early soul, could be completely instrumental for how your team wants to play around those objectives.
Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, it will buy you 5 minutes, right, before
Absolutely.
Soul is something that you have to contest. Definitely worthwhile. LNG start that one off. It was obviously 3 grubs we saw taken earlier for NIP, so we often see those 2 objectives kind of traded, even if it's not at the same time. Quite often it ends up being the way regardless. Scout trading aggressively in the mid lane. Does Q backwards away from the trade. Rookie, I think, trying to bait him in. Arrow going to go up from Photic. Not even close.
Yeah, I think the target right there was Scout. Didn't end up hitting. Rookie was also backing at this point. I'm sure he'd be ready to dash in.
Yeah.
If that arrow did hit, but it wasn't quite the case. And I feel like both teams have been extremely respectful in terms of how they want to play the laning phase. Luckily, as well for the top side, Shanji has been doing an incredible job at not only keeping himself pretty safe, but also farming up a Storm. He's been pretty even versus Zika right now, and Zika has been taking the fight at him every single time, especially when the wave is stacking up against Sanji. He has been deprived him of a lot of that CS and experience, pushing him into trades like he does right here. So for Sanji to be even CS right here is a pretty good state for him.
Yeah, I mean, got to pick his matchup right. That Mordekaiser going to do well into a tank. Now that we're beyond that level 1 where he lost all of his HP at his flash, he can start to take control of that lane. You can see that advantage starting to build up. And that'll only get worse for Zika as the game goes on. Mordekaiser, not a champion that gets weaker with items. Definitely Shanji going to be comfortable. And it's important that Shanji's comfortable, because when you look at the NIP wins that we've seen so far, it has been mostly Rookie and Shanji as kind of the driving forces in a lot of those wins. I mean, Rookie, most MVPs of anyone in the split so far, sat at 8 MVPs as we enter this game.
That's crazy.
Like, he has been a massive driving force, but Shanji as well has had some individual impacts that have really turned things around for his team across the split.
For sure. And I think for Rookie, it speaks miles as well, how we've been saying, oh my god, another international without Rookie, another international without Rookie, someone get Rookie a team. However, this time around, he seems to be locked and loaded, not only due to the MVPs, but the fact that he frees his team off of so much pressure. This guy is probably one of the best laning mid laners that we have over in the LPL, and the way that he manages to transition that pressure through Fog of War, through finding picks. Very interestingly, I was seeing the way that Rookie plays Corki through Fog of War, through flanking, and I was like, you know what? This guy could be so entertaining playing Katarina. I know I'm a little bit biased, but the way this guy uses Fog of War, the way this guy finds flanks, he finds individual picks, I'm like, can you just imagine this guy on like a fun assassin like Katarina?
I mean, yeah, we've seen him on Akali plenty of times. I don't need to imagine it.
Akali's
I know.
boring, come on. Akali's easy.
I mean, Akali's definitely a lot of fun to watch for a spectator, especially when Rookie's playing it. And I'll tell you what's not fun to watch, it's watching your jungler get absolutely one-shot by NIP. And if that ain't grubs, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that is 6 Void Grubs that are going to be going to the side of NIP. Photic moved over in the mid lane, and NIP have so much engaged in their disposal. However, LNG are going to take the fight to them without a jungler.
They're going to just try and 4v5 this one. Hung moves in. That's 2 grubs already as Hung has to flash away. Shanji now has the opportunity to bring Hung into the Death Realm, and that's not a 1v1 that a support is going to win anytime soon. Hung We'll try. Oh, actually, Carla stole one grub. Hung goes down for his trouble as Scout now gets the combo. Going down on towards Photic. Photic falls as in goes Zika to try and find Aki as well. Aki walking away, drop 1 HP as Shanji left alone. How the hell have LNG just completely turned that on its head?
Zika so huge on the Cassante right there, tanked so much of that damage. And I feel like Shanji taking the support into the real might have been a huge mistake, because Zika got to do whatever the heck he wanted in this fight, being completely unchecked. 3-0-1 has got his first item as well, the strongest member on the Rift. 1 level up on his counterpart as well. That level 1 of Shanji walking up with no flash, no TP, was completely taken advantage of by Sanji. And as we're looking at this fight over again, there are no key ultimates for engages, none of Photic, none of Zuo. They cannot make those easy engages. Nice flash from Hang as well. And right here, Shanji, instead of taking that Cassante into the realm and freeing the team off of all that Cassante pressure, he takes in that support, and while Hang comes out, that is it. Zika gets to re-engage back in. There's no ultimate onto his Mordekaiser. But all this time, Wei Wei has time to spawn and get back into the action.
Yeah, I mean, it's still very early in the game, so the dead time is not that long, and a great little snipe at the end there to finish 1 bonus kill. And suddenly, what was looking like an incredibly NIP favor play with a pick onto Wei Wei into those grubs. I mean, they only get 2 out of the 3 grubs, and then they lose the fight. I think it was, what, 4-1 in the end of things? Absolutely monstrous. Maybe 3-1, but either way, LNG hugely ahead now, and look at that top lane. Zika 3-0-1.
Anyone missing Season 13 Cassante? Because you're about to get a little glimpse of it over again in this game. 3-0-1, as you mentioned. He's so far ahead of the Kev. A level up onto Shanji still. NIP, though, are going to use the pressure that they have towards the bots of the map to sneak their first dragon of the game. And we've mentioned over and over again, if that Mordekaiser comes out of lane and you bullied whatever tank you picked that Mordekaiser into, it's great. He looks so strong. Zika, though, we said Season 13, Cassante, can you make it work?
Well, he's got a juicy looking bounty, and NIP want it. No armor to speak of, as he will be whittled down by Rookie underneath the tower. Nobody falls in the end, but now the answer from NIP. From LNG, sorry, as an arrow lands in the Death Realm, goes straight on towards Wei Wei. Shanji finds his opportunity, 1v3, but the arrow saves the day. Flash from Wei Wei, pulled back in. Can he escape? The claw comes down, but Wei Wei survives.
A little bit questionable from Scout to no TP into this fight, but his team had it all along and nets them yet another tower. The first tower, sorry, of the entire game on the top of the map. Full tower platings and a tower going straight into Scout's pocket, rather huge for the Yone on the side lane. And you mentioned it, that Cassante had a pretty juicy bounty on his head. I'm not sure who got to cash that one in. I think it might have been Rookie.
I believe it was Rookie. I will say, I was looking at the items, the fact that there was no boots, the fact that it was only an MR item in the inventory of Zika. I thought Rookie would just shred him, but no, survived for so long under the tower. Bought so much time for LNG's reinforcements. LNG are 1,000 gold up right now, as Herald toyed with starting, but Hung not comfortable with the amount of vision in the area. Great wards coming out from Joel to spot what LNG are trying to do. They're trying to move up to punish Rookie, but Rookie has full info that this is happening.
And if you look on the bot side of the map, the 2 top laners, Sanji does not have his TP up and available if NIP want to take this fight. This is why they're just scouting, setting down some vision control, and making sure that their top lane does have their TP available if a fight breaks out. You see Zika sort of moving up into the river. This is a very smart move a lot of top laners will do, especially when the wave is not being contested and when both sides have cleared it. You start moving towards the other side of the map, because then you do not have to waste your TP. You can use your TP for tempo after the team fight is over. We have seen it a bunch of times, especially over in the LPL. And Zika, he's doing this again, pushes in his wave, walks up river instead of wasting his TP on potentially a fight that will never happen.
Gala stunned up, cleanse after the arcane shift to safety. Gala has been one of the most consistent players on LNG across this split. He's off to a solid start as well. 600 gold ahead individually. He's got that Triforce. Not the strongest moment in the game for Ezreal. That's once that Mana Moon is finished off. but for the time being, still reasonably strong in the game and getting towards that moment. Still powerful. There's a ward behind enemy lines here. Shanji's going to TP to it, but they're looking for Aki in the meantime. Droll dives in to try and buy space and time. That's a great ulti on Takala. He's pulled into the Death Realm. Arcane Shift already used. Has to flash into the pit, but he's chased down. In the meantime, though, the rest of the fight going the way of LNG. Scout finds one as Droll tries to buy more time. Photic pulled in by Hung, but Hung won't be long for the wall. But now will Photic as he dives into the backside. Shanji trying to shred through the health bars. It's a 3v3 here. Weiwei gets a primal surge to keep himself alive, but goes down in the end. And Zika in a 2v1, but that's a win for Zika as he's on the Cassante. Scout escaped and LNG come out ahead.
Season 13, Cassante baby. Zika is giving us all the nightmares of last year. 5-1-3. The second he joins the fight is over for NIP. Another incredible fight for LNG. Who got the eye? Oh, it was Shanji in the end who got the Herald for himself. So he's going to be neutral objective going over to the side of NIP. However, it becomes increasingly more difficult to take Zika down. It seems like Photic and Rookie are not doing quite enough damage yet, so let's look at this fight. Zika walking again, as we mentioned, all the way down from the bot side of the map. A little bit late, however, it's still a favorable fight for his team until Shanji joins, takes Gala into the realm. But look at Zika, the second he steps up, there's 3 members of NIP stuck on with each other. Rookie gets assassinated by Zika, and then it has been the Cassante show ever since. He's just walking up, he takes absolutely no damage. I feel like Rookie dying so early into this fight really did hurt NIP's chances of winning this skirmish.
I mean, Zika Scout as a combo on the Yone and Cassante. How do you outplay that? Rookie dodges the Q3 from Scout, but then, how are you going to dodge the all-out? It's not something that movement is going to save you from. Rookie ends up going down. 3-0-3 for Aki so far this game. He's quietly been doing a lot of work in these fights of managing to survive. The ultimates have been good from him and from Photic so far as well. Aki over the wall. Perhaps staying a little bit too long on this one, and they're actually going to commit everything. Fate Sealed was down. Weiwei's going to finish off the job. Oh, and that's a cast of curse and a half. That's a shutdown into the pocket of Weiwei.
Wow, that was a good one, Munch. Well played. 3-1-3 now.
Sorry, guys.
For Aki, who tried to almost cosplay Hacker right there. Trying to get into a pit that did not belong to him. It's only second Dragon, and I feel like this was a bit of an overreach from Aki. It doesn't matter if he goes over to LNG, you can play the rest of the map. However, I want to reiterate how Shanji being behind on this Mordekaza has inevitably hurt a lot of the power in the teamfight of NIP. Shanji has been trying to block people into his ultimate, feeling like he can kill the target. He's locking in. However, I feel like Sanji's job right here, because he's fallen behind, is to actually lock in someone who's very strong. And whether he leaves or doesn't leave, that is not up to him. It doesn't matter if you lock in Zika and you die to Zika, fair enough. The fact that we've locked out Cassante for an X amount of seconds allows NIP to potentially take someone else down with them. I feel like Zika and Scout are such a huge force right now that you're gonna have to lock someone away for NIP to try and find a pick.
It just has to be Zika. There's no way you're finding Scout. I mean, he's a secret agent. That's 007 on the scoreboard, so there's no way he's ever going to find him to get that ultimate off. I don't know, I've never seen James Bond in the Death Realm. That wasn't a part of the movies, but maybe that'll be the story for the new Bond that comes on in. Charge in the mid lane. Great hook from Hung. Aki, he's damn tanky. I mean, he barely took any damage under that tower.
Yeah, those 6 assists plus kills that he has have netted them 2 items. So far, NIP take a huge chunk of that mid lane tower, would be huge for them. However, LNG are very sneakily surrounding the Baron area. Could be potentially looking for a mid lane tower as well. NIP on the reset right here, they could catch them sleeping. And take that mid lane tower, which will free a lot of that vision around that Baron at top quadrant of Aki's jungle.
Oh no, the ult goes a little bit wide, but the arrow does not. Perhaps a chance here. Weiwei flashes the Claw of Doom and will get out with his life. NIP searching for a chance there, but actually Weiwei got away with the buff as well. And Scout, every single time the camera pans over to Scout, he's in a side lane, he's farming up a Storm, and he's trying to get himself stronger. He's already on those two items. Blade of the Rune King there as well. So as you mentioned, the threat on Baron later on. Scout will do that objective extremely fast. But 3 items on Yone it's a terrifying thing to witness.
I absolutely love the double lifesteal item as well. If Shanji locks you in the realm, you've got so much lifesteal ability. Not that you currently needed, you're 2 levels above this Mordekaiser. This Mordekaiser has about an item and a half, and you're on 2 items onto Yone, 2 levels up. You're gonna be absolutely fine in the Death Realm. However, his items are so strong right now to survive any threat. I love it for a side lane pressure as well. Whether you go up against the Mordekaiser or even the Corki, there's so much poke coming in for the Corki on a side lane. But at this point, you've got so much lifesteal that you can very easily take the all-in.
Can I just quickly say, we're watching a game between NIP and LNG are actually doing things before the 35-minute mark. Like, there have been kills on the scoreboard in an LNG game. There's been exciting action. The team fights have been intense. And we're only just beyond the 20-minute mark. Arrow won't hit, but the ultimate from Aki will. Weiwei forced away, a Scout pulled into that death rope. Let's see if the lifesteal will work out for Scout here. He's not winning the 1v1 so far. Forced to flash on the backside as all 5 members of NIP are up in the top lane. They're going to brute force this tier 1 tower as Zika tries to push elsewhere.
I would say that lifesteal did get him out alive. The shield bow proc right there with a huge shield. And his flash levels 4 members of NIP onto this Yone, and Scout willingly went forward to try and trade and also lifesteal. This will be a tower, of course, as previously mentioned, for NIP. However, if you look towards the bottom side of the map, 50 seconds from now, it will be sole point if LNG manage to secure the next dragon coming up. And that Yone looks so dangerously close to his 3 items. Infinity Edge right here could be huge. Coming through for Scout.
It would be massive. BF sword picked up there.
Unless you can go BT and you can have every lifesteal item in the game.
You could grab your second lifesteal.
Almost every lifesteal item.
Certainly red items, that's for sure. Going for the crit though, so probably not Bloodthirster. I think it is going to be that Infinity Edge.
Yeah.
Let's see though.
Unlucky.
4,000 gold lead for LNG as Drake spawns onto the map. They've already got 2 for themselves. They'd love to get a 3rd, and remember, this is Infernal Drakes. This would be an Infernal Soul, and that is something that you don't want a Yone to have.
Scout started it.
He certainly has. Pulling that one out of the pits. NIP try and move into contest, but this is difficult to push into this much poke without a true front line. And in the meantime, Dwo's been found. Scout gets his ult dodged away from as Hung engages on the 3-man squad, and Rookie's gone! LNG set it up beautifully. Multiple threats as Zika's diving the backline looking for Photic. He's got barrier, but is it enough? The answer is no. Shanji finds Zika in the death realm. Revenge is all Shanji can hope for. Zika dodging, looks for the claw, but he gets a heal at the last second. The Primal Surge keeps Zika alive! LNG indomitable!
5.5k damage coming out of this Cassante in the previous fight, and LNG are sprinting for the Baron. Such decisive play from the get-go for LNG, and it's a great side to have, especially as your first game in the Ascent group versus NIP. Dwo is gonna pop in a ward potentially for Aki to try and steal, but I don't think Aki will get anywhere near that pit. Maybe he will.
He's going to try. He's going to try. He gets into the pit. It's 2k on the Baron, but they just turn around onto Aki. Great play from NIP. Baron secured. Where was this LNG for the entire year? For the entire last couple of years? Where has this squad been? This is gorgeous.
Incredible spot right here from Scout. Sees Sworn a ward, takes him out instantly. Was there S of LNG? See an overextended Rookie and instantly capitalize onto him. He has been, Rookie has had a target on his back for the entire game, and I feel like LNG have been successfully finding that target over and over again. Rookie on the Corki has not been able to put down any damage, and there you go. Season 13 Cassante is back. Ladies and gents, enjoy.
That last second Primal Surge from Weiwei as well, but Zika. I mean, Scout keeps trying to make these big plays with his fate sealed, but Zika is taking the limelight every single time. Scout is yet to actually get a single kill just yet. 0-0-9 on the Yone. It's not often you see that, but LNG. I mean, look, I've been I've been a little bit of an LNG hater over the last few years because they have always played so slow and so boring. If they play like this regularly, I am so down. Oh, onto Hunk. Scout pulled into the death row. I'm not sure that's a 1v1 Shanji can win, to be honest. Scout just wailing on the health bar. Q3 comes in. The 1v1 is won by Scout. And now the rest of the team picked apart. LNG by 2, and Zika is behind the tower. Voting will fall. LNG, they're massacring NIP.
I love how they have the confidence to push forward. They've got 10,000 gold lead in their pockets, and they're just slamming NIP with it. LNG clearing up versus NIP in that game number 1. No mercy. Rook and Two alive. I don't know if they can defend.
I don't think they can. Hung has been so on point with his hooks across this game as well. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. LNG are just going to end the game right here, right now. 5 seconds until Aki comes up, but the Nexus will be focused. Rookie barely survives. Dwarf not so lucky. Nexus down. LNG just won a game in under 27 minutes. I bet you didn't expect that.
Incredible showing right here from LNG. So decisive. My question is, and it will remain, for the side of NIP, because that looked like a mess from top to bottom. You had Dwarf running into Nautilus multiple times. Yeah. You had Shanji with a very disastrous, unfortunate level 1. But my question here remains, what happens when Rookie doesn't get ahead to give that head start to the team? And as we saw, NIP seems to fall apart when that happens.
I love this like full double dive from the Cassandra Yone as well. So entertaining to watch during those team fights. We're going to jump into a break and then we'll find out if NIP have more in the tank. But honestly, if LNG can play like that consistently, they're looking to be a team that climbs those standings once more. Let's see if they can do it twice.
of the realm. Come on, I say now to wipe out the traitors. The earth trembles as we gather ashore for the lands we swear to hold. For our kingdom hours of pain. Vi sörger, vi sörger. Cold and empty, lifeless remains. Vi sörger, vi sörger. Fields of the fallen and blood washed in rain. This cannot be all that will be. So you have torn this world apart. You came for our suffering. So we'll bleed, cut us deep, find the death that you seek. But just remember, we retreat, but we'll live on. Those that die aren't forgone. Just remember. Gone is our home now. It's only memories.
Welcome back, everybody, to the LPL, to the Rumble stage, to LNG 1-0 over NIP, to LNG winning a game in sub 27 minutes, playing aggressive, playing decisive, playing in a way that I don't think I've seen in months.
Absolutely, and I feel like my favorite was when Scout just shut down Rookie. Rookie could just not get the advantage in laning phase there for NIP, collapsed around it, and Zika. That level 1 from Sanji was so disastrous, but whenever there's a mistake, someone has to catch it and make an advantage for themselves. And Zika gave us glimpses of season 13 Cassante, I want to say.
I mean, Zika was an absolute monster on this pick. Him and Scout as like those dive buddies threatening the backline of NIP. Fantastic stuff. But also, this sheer decisiveness in those fights. Zika often being the one starting the fights and taking kills off the back of it. But also then LNG taking objectives off the back of that. Really pushing to try and end the game as fast as possible. Like, really refreshing to see from a team that typically have played very, very slow, played around map trades, played around sort of late game macro as opposed to trying to brute force things. This felt brute force and it felt good to watch.
Yeah, they did have a lot of good matchups as well. Scout with the Yone into the Corki. You get pretty good trades after level 3, level 4, especially after your first item when you get access to the Blade of the Ruin King. Then you can go side lane. Shanji could not stop Scout. We saw him put him once into the ult, and that was Shanji's downfall right there. And of course, you've got the Nautilus into an Ashe Rakan lane. Pretty strong right there. Whoever you hook, you can take pretty favorable trades. And I feel like overall, even though LNG, I felt like came out of this draft very favorable overall. I feel like the way they played through lanes, the way against Scout, shut down Rookie, didn't allow him to play his game, again brings back the question: what happens when NIP does not have mid lane control? Someone has to step up.
They certainly do. I'll tell you what, LNG stepped up today. NIP now have to answer that. Like you say, what happens if Rookie falls behind? Or not even behind, just not ahead either. Now, LNG, over on the blue side, they're going to ban away the Ashe, the Leona, the Yone, a lot of the tools from the previous game. Renekton and Zyra still going to be taken off the board by NIP, but Tristana and Corki both available here.
Ooh, I sense maybe a handshake here, the Yone ban. Kind of tells him that Scout might want to go towards something like a Corki over in the mid lane. Yone is that one matchup that you definitely do not want to be playing into. Specifically after we saw how it went over in game number 1. Brand is going to be the last ban here. And, oh, wow. We forgot about this Yordle.
That's, dare I say, a rookie mistake to leave the Rumble open. And suddenly, it's locked in by Zika. He's only played it once so far, this split, but it doesn't really matter. We know how insanely strong that pick is right now. NIP at least get their pick out of Tristana versus Corki. But you know that the Corki will instantly be locked in by Scout to answer it. Rookie gets that Tristana. looks like Ezreal will be the priority for voting.
Yeah, I love that Ezreal and Photic as well. A little bit more self-sufficiency right there. I'm expecting NIP to go with a composition right here that is a little bit more on the 4 carries spectrum, if you will, and just swap playing that one engaged tanky champion. Every time I see Ezreal, that's kind of what I feel like, everyone for themselves kind of composition. However, LNG, since they have picked that Rumble up on the top side of the map, they're looking for a little bit more structure, a little bit more engaged, and Sejuani gives you just that.
Certainly does. And it also takes that away from Aki, importantly, because that's something that Aki literally first picked on the blue side.
I don't think he wants it again. He's like, free me. Free me from this hell. Free me from the B1 Sejuani
To be
hell.
fair, his Sejuani looked fine. I don't think his Sejuani was the issue in the previous game. Like, the early game looked fine, and it will be the Maokai, the other AP, non-AP jungler. Sort of non-committal AP jungler. Similar to that Sejuani in that you are an engaged tool as opposed to a main damage source.
Funnily enough, Aki has played both iterations. He's played the Liandry's Maokai, but he's also played the tank Maokai in this season. And we'll see what he will choose to go towards. Usually when there's too many tank targets on the other side, you definitely do not want to be one of the squishy engaged members. So we'll see maybe the tank Maokai coming out here, because there is double AD carry already locked in for NIP.